Can you see like streams and stuff on this map?
You can see streams. I haven't actually highlighted this, but that would be part of the fun.
Wow, it's a one shot. Yeah. How you doing?
I teach a course called Life on the Hyphen. In Life on the Hyphen, the purpose of the course is to study cultural production that emerges when two different distinct cultural groups meet and come together. I thought it would be a great idea to go to the border, to the actual hyphen, to look at what was happening.
I'm a qualitative researcher, so I examine people's stories. People's stories are my data, people's perspectives and the meanings that things hold for them. In order to do that, you have to get to know people, to understand their stories.
We took 8 students with us.
We were walking in the desert together and we were observing these things that were happening in front of us, and we were talking to immigrants from Honduras who had spent the night in the migrant shelter in Altar because they had been deported, and now where were they going to go? Were they going to try to cross again, or should they go home to Honduras? And they had no money. And what did we think about that?
We also spent a few nights in Mexico at different sites. In one case, staying in Nogales with a young mother who had a missing brother who had died trying to cross the border and who was working in the maquila industry in Nogales.
One of the very sort of beautiful moments on the trip actually came when we were walking in the desert, because this former professor, this professor emeritus, geologist, he and his wife, who was an artist, they had been in their work in mapping these trails, they had stumbled across a shrine. And what this shrine was that migrants, in the middle of the night as they were crossing the desert, they had collected candles and other offerings, some artisan handicrafts like embroidering, and different prayers and prayer cards, and they had left it in this particular site. Crosses and other relics, and it was obviously a very sort of sacred, holy place.
There's a shadow population living amongst us that is fragile and vulnerable and not subject to the same civil rights that we enjoy every day.
I saw a public defendant who every day, weekly, marches into the Operation Streamline deportation hearings and actually met with us and told us that in some ways these policies were better than before, because now at least she had 20 minutes to meet with her clients. And I saw her break down and weep when she talked about these hearings, and she wept because she said that she felt that all our rights were being cheapened.
We also stayed at shelters and actually slept in the same shelters where migrants who are either on their way north or having been deported on their way back to Mexico. I felt something opened up inside of me that has to do with who I am as a professor, how I engage with pedagogy, and how I view my scholarly interests.
I saw people whose lives were disrupted by this line in the sand, this river.
Illegal is a term that criminalizes. There, but for the grace of God go I, right? I mean, the fact that my family migrated to the United States when I was 6 years old, and that I'm a US citizen, and that I come from a privileged background, to me is sheer luck. And what this trip revealed to me was that we're not so far apart.
I didn't feel like a professor or a teacher or a researcher. I just felt like a human being.